we'll be talking about the moving averages. Now, the moving averages is the only indicator I actually apply to my trend trading system. And for most of you who will say they want to trade with the naked charts, fine, you can, but after watching this video, I'll advise you go back and study about the moving averages, that you see why. Now, very briefly, the reason why I actually want to trade with moving averages is because the moving averages, like I said, after reading and studying past successful traders, I realized that they all make use of one common indicator, which is the moving averages and the volume. Now, I study the volume, I understand the volume, then I move into moving averages. Now, what I noticed about the moving averages is all of them make use of the moving average. Either they make use of 200, moving average 100, 40, or 50. They all make use of the moving averages. So I decided to make use of my own. And after more studies and analysis and backtesting on moving averages, I decided to stay with moving average 21, the exponential moving average 21. Why? Because it's aligned with volume. And so I actually made use of the exponential moving average 21. As you can see here, this is my exponential moving average 21. Now, that's the first thing on moving average. The second thing I would love us to understand is this. I never for once make use of the moving average as a criteria for entry. No, never in my course, never in this trend trading system. Somebody was asking me, I was watching your video and the price went below the moving average. When will I take the trade? Is it when it retests to? No, I don't trade based on the moving averages. I trade based on the pattern. The entries are based on the pattern. The only reason I make use of moving average is what? For analyzing and for trend targets. Yeah, trend targets. I analyze with the moving average and a trend target. If you look at it, why the trend target? If you look at this particular 4-hour level, you will notice that the moving average serves as a point of what? A point of area, as a key level area. They serve as a key level area. Look at it. At the first point here, the market went back to the moving average. Look at it. Around that region, the market moved back to the moving average. Around that region, around the region. Can you see? So this is why I make use of the moving average as a target. Now, if I'm to sell, if I'm to buy all this trade, if I'm to buy this trade from this particular market low, I will target the moving averages. So this is why I make use of it as a target, because it's a key level area, a resistance zone. It's a resistance zone or a support zone, depending on the direction of the market. Now, this is the core reason I make use of moving average. Don't forget, I make use of the moving average just because of two things: as a what? Trend target, and what? As a trend target, first of all, and what? Key level area. Key level area. Now, BOFS course, I talk about the key level areas. Key level areas are those key support and resistance region that price reverses from. Now, we'll be talking about the ways I make use of the moving averages. Having said that, the moving averages is used for trend targets, retracement targets, then key level areas. Now, first of all, as a trend target, let's make this as a trend target. Now, if you look at this particular trade, I'm going to switch. If you look at this particular trade, okay, let me take audio there. All right. Now, if you look at this particular trade on audio ST, price did what? Price did drop from here, rise from here to the moving average level. Why? Why? This is the question we ask. Now, we all know this. We talked about this in the laws of retracement. We talked about this in the laws of retracement. Now, how do I know this is my target as a trend target? Look at it. When price got to this level, what happened? It reverses price back to the zone. Now, if you believe me, if you accept with me, you notice that it also serves as a continuation. That is why we have the moving average as a what? A trend continuation. We'll be discussing about that. So what we'll be discussing now is we'll be discussing about the moving average as support and resistance zone, like this, a key level area. Now, when taking a trend market, the first thing I want you to know is this: the moving average are key level areas in a trend trade, listing and listing good, please. They are key level areas. They are key level areas in a trend trade. If and only if there is a confirmed BMS in PTF, a confirmed BMS. If and only if there's a confirmed BMS, yeah, a confirmed BMS. Now let me explain this. What I'm trying to say is this. Market will only retrace back to the what? The moving averages on a particular trending market. This is a daily trend. It will only retrace back to the moving averages if and only if there is a what? A break in the market structure, a confirmed one. And how do we confirm the break in the market structure? It is daily. So we have to go to the 1 hour. Let's see. Control B. We have to go to the 1 hour. Control B. Look at it. There is a breakout in the market structure from this zone. Look at it. A market structure breakout. And when we spot the market structure breakout, what happened? Price went back up. Now, what happened here? In getting to this point, we are supposed to see a touch of the moving average here. Yeah, according to the rule, there's supposed to be a touch of moving average at this point. At this point. But if you notice what happened, it's this. We have an order counter BMS from the what? From the 1 hour time frame. Look at it. There's another counter BMS breaking the market structure from the 1 hour time frame. From the 1 hour time frame that made price went lower. So you can see the BMS countered this particular one. Now we'll take another example. Another example is this on this particular level. Yeah. And what happened there? We noticed that there is a break in the market structure. There is a break in the market structure. Yes, a break in the market structure. This is a V-like market structure. A break here. There's a break in this market structure. You will notice that. And what happened? Price retraced up to this zone. Now, on getting to this zone, that is the moving average level. That is the moving average level in the daily time frame. So this is the first rule when you are taking moving average as a trend. Price will only retrace to the moving average at the key level area if and only if there is a confirmed BMS. That means if we have a confirmed BMS for daily, then you know that they are going to have a daily time frame target, moving average. If we have a confirmed BMS for weekly, we are going to touch the weekly time frame BMS. Now, for example, look at this. The reason why we have price retracing back up to this zone is because of what? It's because of this. On the 4 hours, yeah, look at it, the 4 hours. This is the 4 hour moving average market structure. Look at it. We have a break in the 4 hour market structure at the end of the week, and which is the week, this week. At the end of this week. So obviously we want to see the market going back to this stuff to touch this moving average level. Without that, we still pause. And that's why you can see price has been what? Trying everything possible to cross, to reverse back to the sell side. But no, the market is still going up in a range-like structure. Why? Because we have a break of the market structure from 4 hours here. Look at it. We have a confirmed break in the market structure from 4 hours here. So price did not go lower again. Instead, it keeps on going up because it has a weekly time frame target, which is the moving average. So this is how I make use of the weekly time frame target. The moving average as the target area. Let's say for you to take this type of trade, there must be a confirmed BMS for you to take this type of trade. There must be a confirmed BMS. This is actually happened during retracement. It normally happens during retracement, happens during retracement fully, yes, during retracement. Then reversal, but retracement most times, because when price touches the moving average, it drops. It continues the main trend after giving us this, just like what happened there, touch the moving average around this level, it drops. Now, this is the first thing you need to understand. The moving average is a key level area, looking at it as a key level area. Now, using the moving average as a key level area, like I said, it's just this. In the trend market, there are two key level areas. Then on one ultimate one. The first one is the order block. The second one, I wish I called the position bar. The second one is the moving averages. Then the last one is the market structure. Now, the market structure is the ultimate level, because when market confirm the break of market structure, we have a retracement or we have a reversal. But when you get to the order block, it's a retracement a region where price can retrace to and continue dropping. The moving average is also a retracement region where price can retrace to and continue the trend. So these key level areas are areas I looked at when trading a trend market. When price goes above the order block region, I know the next place of target is going to be the moving average. When price go below the moving average region, I know the next place of price is going to be the order block. Then we have the market structure. Sometimes we might have a break in the market structure. That is for a bigger trend. So, but know that when price breaks the market structure, automatically it confirms it, then automatically there's a change in the direction of the trend. So this is how I use the moving average for targets. I wait for a BMS, a confirmed one, then I enter, knowing that price is going to target the BMS of the main time frame. And it will only reverse when we have another counter BMS. For example, price is going back, dropping here, then going back up here to touch the moving average. I want to see what? I want to see a BMS confirmation at this particular place in the 1 hour, because this is daily time frame. Then when we have that, then the next thing I want to see is a retracement back to the, of course, you know how to trade your retracement. A retracement to the daily moving average as a target. Now, let's assume this is daily moving average as a target. Now, what I want to see here right now is what? A target has been hit. So what I want to see is what? A continuation of the trend. And how do I get this? They will form their pattern. You know the entry pattern we talked about, they will form it here and they will drop. So this is how it is for a trend. But whatever in a scenario, remember we have, this is the daily time frame we are talking about. In a scenario, price did not. Instead, it did what? It accumulated and break a bigger market structure, 4-hour market structure, confirmed it. So we are going to have a weekly target. So what we need is, we need price to do what? Go back to the weekly target. Let's assume this is where the weekly moving average is. So how do we know that price is going to go back to the top of the weekly time frame moving average? So that is why we are going to talk about what? Moving average as a continuation. For a continuation. Then after that, we'll talk about the moving average rejection candle. Then we'll talk about the moving average in the TPTZ zone. On the TPTZ zone, I will not talk about that because we already discussed it very well in the BOFS. So I will refer you back to the BOFS to watch. I will just give you a little tip, not a tip, a tip on moving average. Then, now let's go back to continuation. Now, if you notice what happened here, just like this, I told you we have a break in the weekly market structure. That means 4-hour market structure. Now, if you notice, price come down this particular area. When we have a weekly time frame market, the price will always do an ABC. A is from daily to, from 1 hour to daily. B is from that daily retracement back. Then C to take us back to the weekly time frame. But now let's see. This particular area where you are seeing here, this particular point you are seeing here, this area I liked. Now, this is the daily time frame moving average. Now, whenever price is respecting a higher time frame retracement target, moving average target, for example, the weekly time frame, you know, the intermediate time frame is what? The daily. So remember I talked about the main time frame and in the intermediate time frame, and I said the intermediate time frame is the live wire. This is what I'm trying to explain. The intermediate time frame automatically becomes the live wire between the 4 hours and the weekly, because whenever the momentum change, the direction change in the daily time frame moving average, then we are going to see a what? We are going to see price reversing, continuing the trend. No, but for another for not to continue the trend, but to continue the retracement, like going to the weekly time frame target, what we'll be able to see, we want to see a rejection from this point. Now that brings me to the what? The moving average time frame candle, like the average candle, the moving average rejection candle rather. The moving average rejection candle is that candle that first of all touches the moving average. For example, this is a buy candle. Now this is the moving average rejection candle. This point, this is the moving average rejection candle. This point. And if you look at it, the low of this buy bar will serve as our rejection zone. And if you look at it, this low keep on forming what? A resistance field until we have a what? A broader resistance field that took price what? Higher. So this particular bar, the first bar that touches the moving average is a what? Moving average rejection bar, because it is at that bar, that the low of that bar, that we want to see price retrace to. We want to see price retrace to the low of this bar. In retracing to the low of this bar, then we will now see what? A continuation to the weekly time frame. So it is at this point you want to see your what? Your target for the range before you now advance to the weekly time frame. Don't forget, let me do this way. This particular point is the weekly MA target. This particular area is where we have the 4 hours. This particular area is where we have the 4-hour BMS, confirmed one, this point. Now, this particular bar here is our AVG, that's average rejection bar. Our average rejection bar, this particular bar here. Then this is the low of the bar. So the low of the bar is an area where price will retrace into. Now this particular area, my rectangle box, is now what? The daily time frame MA region. Remember, price will cut through the daily time frame before it gets to the weekly time frame because of its retracement trade. Now, in looking for a continuation trade based on a retracement, because we are moving from the 4 hours to the weekly time frame target before we continue the trend back. Now, in order for us to continue this trend, we want to spot a what? Listing and listing go. We want to spot a rejection. You know, price has touches the daily time frame moving average. In touching it, 2 things is going to happen. The first is this. When price touches the moving average in daily, at this particular zone, the moving average in daily, this particular zone, this is the moving average in daily area, is going to form what? Listen, it's going to form 2 different things. The first thing is this. It is either going to form our pattern, our entry pattern, this, and drop, and continue again, forming our pattern to continue, back up. This is the first scenario. Now, if you notice the first scenario, they form the what? The formula for a moving average bounce. Then after that, they came down to the rejection area bar and rejected with this same pattern. And they went up, just like what they did here. This point, this is the area. Then they rejected and came back down to this point. Can you see? And they went back up. This is the first thing they will do. Or the second thing they are going to do is this. They are going to go up, then form a particular level of market structure, then they will go up. Now, this area will be the daily time frame moving average area. Then what they will now do is they will now retrace back either to this point, or most times they normally come back to this particular level. Show their hand. They'll come back to this particular level, show their hand like this, you know, our pattern. And they will continue the move. So this is the 2 things you want to look at for a rejection bar, a moving average continuation for retracement. Either they form this pattern or they form this other pattern. We'll be talking more about this on a live class, so I'll be giving more examples. But I just want you to understand this pattern. This particular place is what they form at the MA bounce, and this is the low of the average rejection bar. If you look at it, let me put a particular this thing here, so you understand what I mean by around the low of the average rejection bar, around the low of the average rejection bar. That is where they will come and change the hand. Now let's go back to daily. Can you see our bar? Can you see? This is our rejection bar. Can you see around the low of the rejection bar? This is the low area. That is where they change their hand. Now they first of all form their bounce, then they drop down, form their low here, went back up. This place was still effective. They came back again, then they push it back up. This is what they will always form and form. And for most time, they might form the two of them, just like what happened there. They took it up and they dropped, came down to this level, and they formed the two of them. Can you see? So this is what they do. They most time form the two of them, or they use one. So this is what I want you to always see whenever you get to the moving average. So we talk about the average rejection bar. We talk about the average continuation. Now I want to talk about the average bounce. Now in the average bounce, listen and listening good. The bounce automatically continues the trend. The bounce automatically continues the what? The trend. Now, let's say, for example, the bounce automatically continues the trend. So let me say something here before we continue. One key pictures you need to understand here is this. In the first scenario where they have they create the top, then they go to the low of the average band, create another low, they continue. Market structure is being broken at the top, and they still break another market structure at the low, at the average band, and they continue the market. But in the second scenario, the market structure is not broken at all. So whenever you see your own is you want to come to the intermediate time frame and ensure that they did not break the market structure of the intermediate time frame. If they confirm the break of market structure in the intermediate time frame, then it is over for that particular trend. So now that is it for now let's talk about the bounce. Now, just like the name implies, a bounce. When price retreats down to the moving averages level, let me look for a good one. When price retreats back to the moving average level, there's always a bounce that occurs. A bounce to occur if they are going to continue the trend. Okay, this is a good example. Now, this particular level, if you notice at this particular month, we have the bracket touching the moving averages. Market touching the moving averages, yeah. Now, in touching the moving averages, what did they do? Let's go down to daily and see. Now, when they touch the monthly time frame moving averages, you have to go down to the primary time frame moving averages. You have to go down to the primary time frame moving averages to see, to check if you are going to see what they are doing on the daily time frame. So it's we don't have a good bounce there. Okay, let's use this one. This is under bounce. So this one is even better than the other one. Now look at it. Let's see if we can trace it back to history in the daily time frame. All right, we can't. We have to look for a lower one where we can. All right, let's use this. I believe we're going to see something. This is it. Now, this is the weekly time frame. Price touches the weekly time frame moving average. Listen to a bounce. Your duty is to come down to the 4 hour. Can you see the 4 hour? Do we have it? Please, let's have it. We don't have it. Okay, we'll keep on searching for a good example. I've seen a good one, but I want a picture, a good one, a clear bounce. Let's use this one. Let me see if we have this particular area. This is not a better one. All right, let's use the Great Britain USD bounce here. Good. Now, this is a weekly bounce. The market touched the moving average of the weekly time frame, then we have to go down to the 4 hours. Immediately it touched the moving average of the weekly time frame, you come down to the 4 hours. And what are you looking for? Very simple. You want to see them change their hand by giving us what? A break in the market structure at the end of the week. Look at it. At the end of the week closes like this, closes here. Can you see this is the bounce we are looking for at the end of the week? This is where they close at the end of the week. And what did they do? They continue the market. They drop to this point. This is bounce. Very simple and effective. In short, if you trade only the bounce for a year, you are going to come out profitable. Because what they do is, once price touches the weekly time frame moving average, go down to the 4 hours. Ensure they change their hands. Then you join them in the market. That is what they do for the bounce. Now, the last one I want to talk about is the nature behind the moving averages. When you see the moving averages, now moving averages have two nature. The first one is this: when price touches the moving averages, rejection immediately from there, that is a pure bounce. Now the second one is when price formed below the moving averages. Now what am I trying to say? In this particular scenario, we have price bouncing off the moving averages. It did not even go above it. It bounced up from it and price drop. But in this particular scenario, we have price going above the moving averages. And what did they do before it dropped? Now it is very simple here. When price go above the moving averages, now let's assume this is the daily time frame. This is why we talk about TPTZ zone. You want to take your BMS entry from the 4 hours. Yes, I explained this in the TPTZ. So watch the TPTZ video very, very well. It's very important. But whenever price touches the moving averages, you want to follow that sequence. The only difference here is the change in the time frame sequence. When price is above or below the moving averages, you want to go one time frame lower. That means if it is in daily time frame and price form below for a buy, you want to buy and price go below the moving averages, a TPTZ zone, you want to go 4 hour to low for your what? BMS entry pattern, then you enter the market. They will change their hand there. But if it is on the touch of the moving averages, if it's on the daily time frame, you still want to go to 1 hour, just go to 1 hour and find your BMS. That is just the difference.